Hey guys, Beer League back here with a quick update on some crafting here before 311 drops in about 2 weeks here. So it's the end game gear that I ended up going with for the 40-40 league in Delirium here. This is pretty much the end game gear for the Ball Lightning guide. I'll be playing this again in 3.11. So I've had a couple different questions on gearing and crafting, what we can craft, what we can't craft. So I want to talk a little bit about that before we can get into next league. I'm going to try and stream league start as well. So for folks that want to see the gearing up process from the beginning of a new league, feel free to check that out. I'll link a description, or I'll put a link to the stream in the description below. So first, the question that I always get is about crafting these types of wands. Unfortunately, there really is not a good way to go about crafting these particular wands. Really, what you're looking for is you're looking to buy a base, and you're looking to buy the base that has both the plus level of spell skills and then plus level of lightning spell skills. They are extremely rare to craft, and while there are combinations of fossils that will get you there, never are they going to be cheaper than simply buying the base. Unfortunately, the bases are fairly expensive, but if you're on the lookout for them throughout the league, you can definitely pick up a few. This particular base had two prefixes and some suffixes. I went ahead and cleared the suffixes off and then did the metacrafting for the spell damage and the crit. And then I slammed it with a Crusader's Orb and ended up hitting the 7% increased damage for power charge, which isn't terrible, but wasn't exactly what I was looking for. Now, on to the things that we do look to craft for this build. In particular, there are three slots worth talking about: the helmet, the ring slots, and then the belt slot as well. Most of the time, rings like this are fairly expensive, and the main reason for that is because of that percent maximum energy shield roll. The 13% in particular on this ring is what makes it expensive. However, if you're looking to get a much cheaper roll that just has the energy shield, the maximum energy shield, and then whatever other rolls you need, whether it's resists or stats, typically you can pick up one of those rings for only a couple chaos for exactly what you need, and then you're looking to slam it with a Crusader's Orb. So in my case, for both of these rings, actually, what I did was I looked for rings that had an open prefix. It's very important they have an open prefix. This ring, when I started it, it had the suffixes were maxed out, and I ended up crafting the suffixes on, but the important thing is that the ring has an open prefix. The ring needs to have an open prefix, and it also needs to have no tier influence on it. So you don't want a Shaper ring, you don't want an Elder ring, you don't want a Crusader ring. You want a vanilla ring with the stats that you desire, and then simply you slam that ring. You use a Crusader's Orb, a Crusader's Exalted Orb on that ring to potentially get either maximum energy shield or spell damage. Both are quite good for the build. The energy shield will give you a little bit better survivability, while the spell damage will give you a little bit more DPS. So in this case, I actually hit the maximum energy shield, then slammed it again and hit the spell damage. For this particular ring, I actually missed the secondary roll of percent increased maximum energy shield, but I hit the spell damage on it, which I was happy with. So initially, I bought this ring, was just a regular vanilla ring that had the suffixes that I needed. I needed the dexterity and the fire res. Went and bought the ring. It was only a few chaos, and then I slammed it with the Crusader's Orb, hoping to get an additional percent maximum energy shield, and instead I hit the spell damage, which I was fine with. Typically, these rings will be very cheap. The cost for these rings is mostly in the Crusader's Exalted Orb. And I do the same type of process with the belt as well. So I end up looking for a belt, a crystal belt typically, that has tier 1 energy shield and has the other stats I need. In this case, it was strength, an open suffix for cold, and aspect of the spider. And then I slammed it with the Crusader's Orb to get the maximum energy shield here. Again, belts that have strength, maximum energy shield are fairly cheap. It's that percent maximum energy shield that really adds the value to it. So we're looking at a couple dozen chaos maybe for these types of rolls. Then later on in the league, slamming it with your Crusader's Exalted Orb to produce something that has that percent maximum energy shield. This is typically cheaper than going out and buying a belt or a ring like this on the open market. And the main reason for that is that these bases are extremely cheap and people overcharge for those maximum energy shields quite heavily. So when you're looking to do that, it should be about mid-league, mid-early league. So week 2, week 3, week 4 is when you can start looking to metacraft with those types of items. Until then, you're fine without using the maximum energy shield. But we can pretty reliably get these types of rolls because there are only 3 or 4 different rolls that we can hit with a Crusader's Orb in both of these slots. So it becomes fairly easy to simply hit one of those or one of the other rolls like spell damage, which is also good for the build. The other item that we can potentially craft for our build is a Hubris Circlet. What we're looking for is we're looking for one of the enchants on a base that we can craft from. So typically Hubris Circlet is the best for us. So we pick up a Hubris Circlet that either has Ball Lightning fires an additional projectile, or if you're playing Glacial Cascade, you'll look for Glacial Cascade converts 40% of physical damage into cold damage. If you're playing Icicle Mine, you're probably looking for icicle damage, but you're looking for a white helm, so no modifiers, no nothing, that has a enchant that you want. From there, the best way to go about crafting something like this is to simply use dense fossils on it. I suggest just the dense fossils. Other than that, you're going to end up producing more rolls that you don't really want. And it shouldn't take too terribly long to produce something around 300 energy shield or even more in some cases. You can also look to add perfect fossils there before you begin crafting to increase the quality of the helm or increase the quality of the item up to 30%. In this case, I only had 28 and went from there. But it is possible to get one of these helms that has right around 340 or 350 energy shield, which does add a very nice percentage of defense for you in your build. These are the four main slots that we can focus on for self-crafting: the helm, the 2 rings, and the belt. We are using 3 different uniques in this build: Machina Mitts, Chevrons, Presence, and Prism Guardian. So between these 4, there really isn't a whole lot that you can do. Boots are a more difficult craft in my experience. However, if you are looking to craft boots such as these, you're really looking to be able to use 2 types of fossils: your shuddering fossils, which can give you the increased movement speed, and then your dense fossils, which can give you the energy shield. However, I've had much better luck in the past simply buying boots rather than spending the money to craft them. This particular pair of boots was actually a fail craft where I had taken 2 bases, slammed them together, did not get the desired result, chaos spammed a couple times, and ended up with these. So it was a rather lucky craft. I would not suggest trying to craft boots. Other than that, there are 2 things to note as far as item level is concerned. With your boots, if you're looking for a 35% movement speed, the item level needs to be at least 86. You can see here that mine are 88. For the belt, you are looking for at least item level 83. The rings, you're looking for item level 82 to provide the highest maximum roll. So 86 on the boots, 83 on the belt, and 82 on the rings, and follow that up with 83 on the helm as well to give you the opportunity to roll the highest maximum energy shield. As always, if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the guide. Thanks.